In the heart of western Mexico lies Michoacan, a land of avocados and orange groves. But beneath its fertile soil, a brutal truth, law ruled by fear. Here, heavily armed men roam the streets, not as criminals, but as saviors, brandishing not only guns, but Bibles. They claim to uphold justice, to protect the poor. But their methods are savage. These are the tactics of La Familia Michoacana, originally seen as vigilantes, now branded a terrorist organization by the US and Canada. Their banners demand loyalty. Their verdicts are enforced in blood. This is their story. A story of faith twisted into fear, of protector turned predator, and of how one cartel evolved into a global threat in the era of fentanyl. Michoacan has long been a hub for poppy and marijuana cultivation. But in the late 1990s, a small group of vigilantes emerged, locals fed up with kidnappings and criminal violence. They called themselves La Familia Michoacana. Their promise, to defend their towns, to make justice biblical. Yet this was not a militia, it was a seed poised to grow into Mexico's most infamous cartel. The group formed with support and training from the Gulf Cartel and its paramilitary wing, Los Zetas. They learned their tactics from brutal masters. By 2006, La Familia declared independence, no longer a regional force but a national cartel, entering the world of methamphetamine and cocaine. They mixed ideology and violence, a poison cocktail. They distributed homemade evangelist sermons with their deeds. They punished criminals with grotesque murders displayed publicly. In the infamous Heads in Disco massacre of 2006, they made a statement. But despite their brutality, they proclaimed virtuous purpose, fighting evil while becoming it. To the outside world, they were cartel thugs. To local villagers, they were a force, part enforcers, part clerics, part Robin Hood. They resolved disputes, funded charity orphans, and extorted ranchers and avocado growers. By the late 2000s, however, fractures began to show. At the center of La Familia's rise was one man, Nazario Moreno Gonzalez. Known to his followers as El Más Loco, the craziest one, he wasn't just a drug lord. He was a preacher, a mystic, a self-proclaimed messiah. He authored his own gospel, a spiritual manual that members were required to study. It blended self-help, evangelical principles, and cartel loyalty. In meetings, he would quote scripture before issuing death sentences. Under Moreno's leadership, La Familia became cult-like. Soldiers attended prayer groups. Evangelical radio stations were funded by the cartel. Their violence wasn't random, it was ritualized. They positioned themselves as defenders of the poor. But their benevolence was transactional, help in exchange for obedience. And any betrayal, even perceived, was met with horrific retribution. Nazario was officially declared dead by the Mexican government in 2010. A shootout in Apatzingan allegedly ended his reign. But like a dark prophet, rumors of his survival persisted for years. And the shadow of his ideology would haunt Michoacan long after. Out of the ashes of La Familia Michoacana rose a new entity, Los Caballeros Templarios, the Knights Templar cartel. Many of the same faces, same methods, same twisted faith, but a new name and new branding. They wore medieval tunics, distributed moral codes, and painted themselves as holy warriors. The line between religion and terror became indistinguishable. Their reach expanded, from meth to extortion, mining, logging, and even political influence. The Knights controlled entire regions of Michoacan, installing mayors, judges, and police chiefs. But as power grew, so did the infighting. Rivalries between lieutenants splintered the organization. The Sinaloa cartel, smelling blood, pushed into Michoacan. So did the Jalisco New Generation cartel, CJ&G, sparking a war for dominance. And the people of Michoacan? Caught in the middle. Again. In 2014, the impossible happened. Nazario Moreno was found alive. After being killed in 2010, he had continued to lead from the shadows. When federal forces tracked him to a mountain hideout, a second, final shootout ended his life for real this time. but his resurrection solidified his myth. Some followers believed he never died at all. Others mourned his passing as the end of a spiritual era. The government's credibility suffered a blow. If it could kill a man who wasn't dead, what else had it lied about? Into this chaos stepped vigilante groups, true civilians this time, calling themselves autodefenses. But even these movements were co-opted by cartel interests. Some were backed by rivals. Others became new gangs themselves. By the mid-2010s, La Familia remnants had re-emerged under new names and alliances. Though the Knights Templar faded, fragments of La Familia Michoacana were revitalized, particularly in the Tierra Caliente region. They expanded operations into synthetic drugs. Meth had been their crown jewel, but fentanyl offered a new gold rush. Smuggled in pill form, often disguised as OxyContin, it flooded the U.S. market. The group's religious rhetoric diminished, but not the violence. Social media videos showed executions, bombings, and armored vehicles. Despite splintering, La Familia factions began operating like miniature militaries. Their tactics evolved. So did their profits. And fentanyl made them rich again at a deadly cost. Today, La Familia Michoacana exists in fragments, yet remains lethal. They battle CJ&G in deadly turf wars across Guerrero, Michoacán, and Estado de Mexico. Drones are used to drop explosives. Roadblocks, armored convoys, and propaganda videos echo scenes from war zones. The government claims progress, but locals know better. Towns like Aguililla and Tepalcatepec live under siege. Extortion remains rampant. Farmers pay protection or lose everything. And while Nazario is dead, his ideology lingers, in whispered prayers, in cartel oaths, in every meth shipment stamped with his initials. La Familia Michoacana didn't just build a drug empire. They built a religion of fear. Cartels come and go, but La Familia Michoacana was different. They didn't just kill, they preached. They didn't just deal drugs. They offered salvation at gunpoint. And they proved that the deadliest force in the drug war isn't cocaine or meth. It's belief.